Hello guys, today this tutorial is about star labs. So I have divided this tutorial into two parts. First part will be containing left justified triangle, right justified triangle, and triangle isosceles and rhombus. And after that the second part will be containing the same tasks, but there will be hollows like hollow rectangle, hollow left justified triangle, hollow right justified triangle, hollow rhombus. Yeah, these problems. So for the first problem that we will be solving today is the problem 5, which is left justified triangle. For left justified triangle, let's say the sample input and sample output is given here, and for the sample input 4 we need to print this pattern. So you need to remember that for each task in this lab there will be patterns. So the first priority of solving this problem will be finding the pattern. So for this problem left justified triangle, the pattern is that for first row there will be 1 star, for the second row there will be 2 star, for the third row there will be 3 star, and for the fourth row there will be 4 star. So if we think that that this is the first row, this is the second row, this is the third row, this is the fourth row, like first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and at the same time while printing the star, like we know that for the first row we need to print 1 star, but how do we define that we are only printing 1 star? So we need to also consider the column numbers. So for that, this is the first column, and then this is the second column, this is the, and then this is the third column, and then this is the fourth column. So when we are in the row 1, we are printing only first column, and when we are in the second row, we are printing first 2 column, and when we are in the third row, we are printing first 3 column, and for the when we are in the fourth row, we are printing all columns. So this is the pattern. So now we will be converting this pattern into our Java code. So I have written a code here, just so we will be deleting this. And for this, like I have defined a class first, and then I have my main class here. So as we are taking input from the user, we need to define scanner class here, and for that I have imported scanner classes, all utilities, and after that we are taking first input using scanner sc.nextInt, and after taking the first input we need to use a for loop that will be contouring the rows. So for the rows, for loop there are three things we need to consider. For the first will be we need to value initialize, and so I am initializing the value first c equals to 1. This is the first counter, and this will go until c less than or equal to the row given by the user. So and after that this will increase at c equals to c plus 1 or c plus plus, and then this for loop will be controlling the rows, and but we need while we are printing we need to consider the columns, right? We have said that already. So for that we need another for loop which will be controlling the columns. So we are defining another for loop which will be initialized as a equals to 1, and as you already said that for the first row there will be only first column will be printed, second column will be printed, third column will be printed. So we can say that the row counter and column counter need to be equal, right? So for that my column counter will be column counter j will be less than or equal c, and then j plus plus. So if you right, see that for these I have the row for this for loop will be contouring my rows, and these will be contouring my columns. So my column is going from j equals to 1 to c. C is my row number. Like if I have row equals to 1, my column will go until it is 1. If my row equals to 2, my second loop will go from 1 and 2. And my row is 3. When my row is 3, column will go from 1, then 2, then 3. So if this is the pattern that for first row, column loop is going from 1 to row, and for second row my column loop is going from 1 to column row, and from for third row my column loop is going from 1 to the row. So this is my loop, and we need to print here system.out.println. Print. We are printing in the row wise. So whenever we are using print, that will print in row wise, that will not print any new line. But whenever we are using ln, that will create a new line. We need to use that a bit later. So first here we will be printing the star, and after that we have, so when this first line is done, so we need to go to a new line. Like let's say if we don't go into the new line, what happens? So I'm compiling these and while running. So if you can see that there is no new line created. So to solve this problem, we need to, when the first row is, the work of first row will be done by this, and after that we need to create a new line, this. So whenever we are creating the new line, see, so when this the work of first row is done, we need to go to a new line from this to this, and after the second row is done, we need to go to a new line, and after that, so this way we go to a new line. So after that, the second problem is this is the only done for the stars. So if you want, you can do this task by doing this. And for this problem, if you can see that the 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the number of the columns. So instead of printing the stars, you just need to print j, because j is the column number. So in this way you can do this problem. And after that, for the right justified triangle, there is also a pattern. The pattern is that for first, when we in the first, okay, let me just initialize the row numbers: first row, second row, third row, and fourth row. And first column, second column, third column, and fourth column. So you can see that for first column it is right justified triangles. So therefore for first column there is 3 space printed, and for first row, there is 3 space printed, and for second row there is 2 space, and for third row there is 1 space, and for fourth row there is no space printed. So in the previous problem, what we have done there is we have gone from the loop is going from j equals to 1 to j equals to c. But for this problem, first we need to print space. So for printing space, this is the row loop, and in this column loop we need to go from 1 to n minus c. Why n minus c? Because when you are in the first row, that means your c equals to 1. Right, you see the value of c equals to 1 and n equals to 4. So if we subtract 1 from 4, we get 3. That's the number of space we need to print. So therefore we will go from j equals to 1 to j equals to n minus c. We just need to print a space here, and after that this is only the space part, and after that we also need to print the star part. So we can do this with a while loop if you want, or you can convert it to a for loop. So I am doing it a while loop because let's practice while loop. So k less than or equal c, so this will print system out dot print star. So one important thing is that for loop with the increment is happening here, but for while loop we need to increment it manually. So k plus plus. Oh right, I haven't. This will be star. So after that again we need a system dot out dot print ln to go to the new line. So print ln to go to the new line. So let's see. Yeah, this is the right justified triangle. So main catch is that we need to print space. So the space count we can get is the when we are in the first row we need to print 3 space. That means the given input of the user is 4, and if we subtract 1 from row count from the row number, we get the number of spaces. And for the printing stars we need to go from k to c. C is the row number, because the logic is the same. Like if the row number equals to 1, we need to print 1 star. If the column number row number is 2, we need to print 2 star. That's why if k equals to c equals to 1, k will go to 1 to c, and if c equals to 2, k will go to 1 to c, and if c equals to 3, k will go to 1 to 3. In this way we are getting 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and 4 star. And when the loop is done, there we need to go to a new line. This is the for first line, second line, third line, and fourth line. So this is the task 7. And for task 8, the same thing, that when we are in the first row we need to print sorry. So when you are in the first row, we need to print the 1, and when we are in the second row, we need to print 1, 2, 2. So for this, we just need to print here k. That will do our work. So yeah. And after that, for the third problem, that is triangle isosceles. For triangle isosceles, the pattern here is that for first we need to consider about the task 7. What we have done, that we need to print 3 star, then 2 star, then 1 star, then 0 star. The same thing we will need to do here for the first part, and after that for printing stars we need to change our code a little bit. So until this, the code will be the same because the printing space is same, but after that how many stars we need to print, that's why we need to change this portion. So to change this portion, we just need to, like, first we have printed 1 star, then we have printed 2 star, and then we have printed 3 star, and then we have printed 4 star. But for this, like, if you think this portion is like we have until this part, right? and after that we want to now we want to print this part. So if we use the formula that when previously we have used only the loop will go from K to C, but if we go the double from double, like 1 to, if our row count is 1, if we go like double minus 1, like row, when we double the row number here, the row, okay, let me write it here, no, sorry. So if we double the row number and then we subtract 1, like when c equals to 1, that means the first row, so 2 into 1 minus 1, what gives us is 1. So there is a number of star we are printing. When c equals to 2, 2 into 2 minus 1 equals to what? 2 into 2, 4, and minus 1, we are getting 3. So there's the number of star we are printing. And the same way, when c equals to 3, that means row number 3, we are printing 2 into 3 minus 1, which gives us 3 multiplied by 2 is 6, minus 1 5, so 5. So in this way we are getting the number of stars. So I hope you got what is the pattern. So for this we just need to multiply 2 with the row count, and then we have to subtract 1. So the brackets, oh, this should do our work. Let's give 4. You can see that. So only we need to print and we need to control this portion only. So for StarLab, each previous task is prerequisite for the next task. You can see we need to just modify a little bit from the previous task, we can get the next task. So for solving this task 12, we need to know the concept of task 9 and task 7, because from task 7 we will know the concept of space, and from task 9 we will know the concept of printing isosceles triangle. So for this we can first of all we need to for this, okay, let me remove this portion here for now. And so I have written already here that, so for this rhombus task, first we need to print the upper triangle, which we have done already in the previous task, and so the code for this portion will be the same. And so this portion is done, and now for the lower portion we need to find how can we print this portion. So for this, if we go the opposite direction, like for upper portion we have gone from we have iterated our loop c equals to 1 to c less than or equal n. But now if we go from c equals to n minus 1 to c greater than to c greater than or equal 1, in this way we will be able to start print the spaces. How? Let me show you that. If we trace the code, like if c equals to n minus 1 for now, and we are in the first, so and n equals to 4 input given by the user, and so you for the first for loop, we are in the first row, so in c equals to what c should be, c equals to 3, because 4 minus 1 equals to 3, so 4 minus 1 equals to 3, and then we need to use another for loop for printing the space. So if I show you the task, like for printing the space, first we have use this for loop and then another for loop. So this for loop will be the same, but the main trick is here. We are starting printing from c equals to 3 to c greater than 0 or c greater than or equal 1, and then this portion should be the same, because okay, let me write it here. So because when j equals to 1 and j goes, condition is that j greater than, what was the condition, j greater than n minus c. So our n is 4 minus c is 3, so equals to 1. So we are printing 1, we are printing 1 space. So here we have 1 space. And for the second loop, c will be c minus minus, so c minus minus, you can see we have used, will be decrement, we will be using, and will be use decrement, so that is the c minus minus. This will, so this c minus minus will convert the c equals to 3 to c equals to 2. So for this, our present value will be 4 minus 2 equals to 2. So this is the number of space we are printing for the second row. So if we convert this into our code, so this should be like, we need another for loop, we need another for loop, this should be outside this for loop. So for Control A, this one is very extra. So yeah, there will be another for loop for int. Let's define c equals to 1 here also. So many of you might think that we already have used c equals to 1, now we are using c again, but this c will not affect this c, because the lifeline of this c is until this for loop. So for this for loop is going from here here to here, so the c equals to 1 will not be will not exist after the loop is finished. So we can use c equals to 1 again, and this c will go, sorry, our this c need to go reverse order. So this should be n minus 1, and this should be greater than or equals to 1, and after that we need to decrement this, because we are going recursively. And after that we need another for loop. As I said, this for loop and this for loop should be the same, and so we are printing the space here, and after printing the space, the calculation of printing star would be the same. So for printing the stars, this code would be the same. So if we go from there to there, and there will be 3 stars first of all there will be 3 stars and then 1 star, so this should do our work. Let's compile and run. So as you can see that we have got our rhombus. So the main catch was that we had to control the space. You can see from this portion is our task 9, which was a triangle isosceles, and after that we had to go recursively for printing space. We have printed space here, and for printing star the process is same as previous one, because we had to print the, after printing the space we had to print the number of star that as the sample input is given here is 3, and our for loop condition was that so you go from n minus 1. So if c equals to n minus 1 and here n equals to 3, so c equals to would be 2, right? So as so if c equals to 2 and we have done the problem 7 here for right angle, for right justified triangle. For right justified triangle, if we do the opposite inverse of the right justified triangle, we have to print the spaces that we have done, and after that when for this inverse triangle, now we need to print a double of what we have done in the right justified triangle. Like we have to do 2 into c double and then subtract 1 from that, then we will give our expected output number of stars. Like our for now we have the c equals to 2, so 2 into 2 minus 1, which will be 2 into 2 minus 1 2 into 2 minus 1, which will be 3, right? So we have got the expected output, that is 3 stars we are getting, and after that we will decrement the value of c. So c would be equals to 1, because it was 2 and now it will be updated as 1, and after that 2 into 1 minus 1, which will give us 1, so we are getting 1 star. So in this way we are getting the expected output. So let's run with giving input 3. So we are input 3. So this is the output of the rhombus we are getting. So thank you for watching this tutorial. In the next tutorial I will be discussing about the how can we change the shapes by doing a hollow shape, like there will be right triangle, rectangle and a rhombus, but in the center we will have hollow, only the border will have the expected stars or any numbers. Thank you.